S&P, obviously, as you guys see on the chart right now, right at its new week opening gap. Which that gap still hasn't filled completely. What is this? And then yesterday's low. Let's go top down. Did get that close back below the bottom of this SIBI. Yesterday's 8 a.m. 1 hour. We get another bleed down. Obviously, we have a. No, we already came down to a discount. Excuse me. It's 9:30 gap. This earnings low down here. If we get some speed through this, and then ultimately we start to dig into this 9:30 gap, unless we if we do drop through this low and we wick into this and then get like a crazy reaction, then I don't think it's a crazy idea for us to bleed down here. Dollar's trying to push as well. Even SMT here, if we get below this and then bleed, it should bleed, I should say. If it fails, then this is probably just useless, insignificant PD array. We'll probably come up, and then I would see if we see some sort of rejection off new day opening gap. Same thing here, like we could get a Friday bleed. The daily candle, we're still just in yesterday's wick here. And all these large wicks down here are low-key sketchy, but Like this is a 5 minute. This doesn't look like a typical low to be put in, right? So similar to yesterday, I'm not really interested in longs. If we start, even if we do push up, like what I've been harping on the last couple days, having a clear plan. I still am not seeing anything in price that would suggest that. I still favor downside, gun to my head, but I'd rather wait for something a bit more clear for them to put some relative equal lows in, and right at low of the day still. So, I mean, look at 9:30 open. We just opened and just fell down off a cliff. Didn't even get a return to the 9:30 yet. Now we're in some sort of consolidation. See if we get this bleed down now again. I mentioned on the BPR and ES, if we don't bleed down now and start to get funky around this inversion, with a lot of these highs right here. But again, I'm still not in a rush to do anything here because I have no clear picture. This is the type of lower probability trade that I would be less confident in, that I would take all the time. I mentioned, gun to my head, we'll probably go lower, right? And for me before, like that would be enough for me to rush into any sort of setup that I convinced myself I saw. Where like, oops, you're just saying, dude, am I an absolute idiot? Holy shit. Where like now I'm just way more picky, and I would just be like, okay, let's take this in inversion, let's see if it works. And I mean, it still could work, but this is the point here. Like, I don't want to be shorting at low a day with trendline liquidity above. And these are the type of trades I would really want to rush into to feel like I was making progress as a trader, to just get that dopamine hit, to pass an account, to try to get out of yesterday's drawdown, whatever the reason I convinced myself was. Like, even like these low probability setups doesn't mean they're impossible, obviously, but you really want it to be so clear when you put on a trade. And like we always understand that, but once I started to actually embody that, as the trader, make it my identity to be that type of disciplined trader, to be super picky, right? Then you start to see improvements, because you're not taking these trades that are just weird, low shorting at low a day, rushing into a long, trying to take every inversion. All those things are filtered out, and you're just waiting for it to be so clear, where you're saying, oh yeah, this is super clear, I'm bearish, I definitely don't want a long today. Let's see if we get a great setup. That's obvious. And that's literally trading, guys. Still clean lows. These are still too clean. So again, if we continue to push upwards, we have all that trend line there, and the range I'll be using is right here. I want to dig up into a premium. And even just like, look at this, where we're at right now after initial expansion lower. Like there's been one fair value gap since 9:45. So it's been 35 minutes and we literally have this one fair value gap. You know, leads for me to not want to rush into anything.